They say a man's trash is another man's what? Treasure, right? So yesterday I was watching a show on French television, and they were having like some debate about the importance of European countries and specifically France to attract researchers from the US. Now, here's the thing, we all watch the news and we don't have to go into all these details, but the fact that so many researchers here in the US are either getting fired or being censored, or like their work is really being restricted and they're getting very nervous about their job situation. Well, European countries are actually saying, you know what, we welcome you. They want to attract more and more American researchers and people who are also specialized in the field of DEI because they truly believe in the future of these fields and they really want to invest more and more money into these fields. And the thing in the debate that they were talking about was the fact that we've always seen the US as the land of the free. But today, with all the restrictions that people in the field of DEI and also a lot of research fields are seeing, well, now European countries are like, you know what? We can become the new land of the free. Europe could be this new land of freedom where there's freedom in research, but also in the field like DEI, because these topics are really important and valuable. So even in a society like, for example, in France, where race relations are very different from race relations here in the US, the topic of DEI is not as deep and not as developed, I would say, or advanced in discussions as it is here in the US. This is a perfect opportunity for you, if you are working in this field, for you to take your talents where it's going to be welcome. In countries like Spain, countries like France, Germany, so many countries right now have the funds. They have allocated those funds for research. So I know that a lot of Black women are highly qualified in all these tech and research jobs. So now is your chance to position yourself and to look at other countries where you are welcome, other countries that can hire you and highly compensate you for all the research that you're doing. And we all know that research leads to development, right? So Europe right now is really hot on this topic, right? On the show, they were talking about how they want to compete against countries like China and Russia so that they would be the one to attract those American brains and not China or Russia. So if you're thinking about moving to Europe and you are in those highly sought after fields, this is your chance to actually go and find a job in those destinations. I usually talk about how getting a job is not the preferred way to move abroad because you can be let go at any time, right? But that's usually the case when it comes to American companies allowing you to work remotely because you're still under American law, right? But in Europe, employment laws are really, really different. You will rarely be let go out of the blue. There's a lot more job security in countries like France or Spain as well. And if you're in the field of DEI, like I was saying earlier, this is also a perfect time for you to tap into these markets that maybe you were not considering before. And maybe you don't know this actually about France specifically, but the motto of France is Liberté, Égalité, Fraternité, which means liberty, equality, and brotherhood. So I'm not saying that there's no racism or prejudice or anything like that in France or in Europe. We all know that that's not true. But what I'm saying is that because of these ideals, work in the field of DEI will be highly welcome in a country like France. So if you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments. I'm willing to do a little more research about that, dig a little deeper to see how you can get started. But seriously, I encourage you, if you're in the field of academia like I was before, or any kind of research or even DEI, if you're open to moving to Europe, I highly recommend that you look into these programs. Again, they said that they have allocated those funds already and that they are welcoming researchers with a lot of support in the type of research that you can do. So those of you who are in those fields, and if you don't feel appreciated or if you feel a little nervous about where things are going right now, definitely look into Europe because the grass could be a little greener on that side.